morning, grade 5 learners. I am Ma'am Jen, your science teacher, and welcome to our science class. For today's lesson, we are going to learn the functions of the reproductive parts of the flowering plants. Are you ready to learn? So please prepare your pen and paper so you could jot down some notes. At this time of pandemic, people resort to different hobbies to pass away time. One of these is taking care of plants. How about you? Do you like taking care of plants? Well, I hope you do. Look at this flower. Can you identify what flower is this? Yes, this is a gumamela flower. What about this one? Yes, this is a santan flower. Are you familiar with this flower? This is a sampaguita flower, our own national flower. What about in your place? Can you identify some flowering plants found in your community? Please write down on your paper at least 5 flowering plants you can find in your place. For you to learn about the reproductive parts of the flowering plants and their functions, I will show you a short video about this. Later on, you will answer these questions. What are the external parts of a flower? What are the female reproductive parts of a flower? What are the male reproductive parts of a flower? So grade 5 learners, are you now ready to learn? Great! Now listen and watch the video carefully.
Parts of flower. In flowering plants, reproduction occurs in the flowers. There are several important parts in a flower that help in fertilization. The role of the sepal is to protect the bud before it blossoms into a flower. The style connects the stigma to the ovary. The female part of the plant is called the pistil. The stigma lies at the top of the pistil. The tube that connects the stigma is called the style. The anther is covered in pollen. The male parts of the flower are the anthers and the filament. Together they are known as stamen. The petals are the brightest part of the flower. They are usually large and colorful. The job of the petals is to attract insect to the flower. Inside the flower lie the male and female parts of the flower.
So kids, did you learn something from the video today? Well, that's good. Now let's see what you have learned. What are the main parts of a flower? Yes, that's correct. The main parts of a flower are sepals, petals, pistil, and stamen. What are the female reproductive parts of a flower? Excellent! The female reproductive part of a flower is called pistil. It is composed of stigma, style, and ovary. What are the male reproductive parts of a flower? That's good. The male reproductive part of a flower is called stamen. It is composed of 2 parts, the anther and the filament. Great job, kids! Now let's have another fun activity to enhance your learning. In this activity, you will identify the part of the flower being described. Okay? You only have 10 seconds to answer each question. Are you ready? It is part of a flower that produces pollen grains. A. Petals, B. Stigma, C. Anther. Very good. The correct answer is anther. This part of the flower attracts pollinators such as birds and insects. Is it A. Style, B. Petals, C. Anther? Yes, that's correct. The answer is petals. It is the sticky part of the flower that catches the pollen grains. Letter A. Is it style? B. Stigma, C. Stamen. Very good. The correct answer is stigma. This part holds the anther up. A. Is it ovary? B. Filament, C. Pestle. Yes, the correct answer is filament. This part protects the developing flower called bud. A. Sepal, B. Filament, C. Anther. Yes, that's correct. The answer is sepal. Congratulations for doing great. Now that you have learned the different reproductive parts of a flower and their functions, do you think you can answer this question? What do you think is the most important role of a flower to the plant? Flowers are important for the plant because it is the reproduction unit of the plant to make its new generation. In other words, the flower is called so because it is the part which produces the pollens and the excel for the reproduction process. You saw your classmates picking flowers in your school garden. They made fun of this by removing the petals one by one. What would you tell them? Taking good care of flowers is important because they can feed insects and birds. They provide natural medicines for humans. And most importantly, flowers are the reproduction unit of the plant. Without flowers, plants would merely be green and the world would be a duller place to live. Now, to sum up our lesson for today, remember that flowers are the reproductive organs of plants and it has four main parts, which are the stamen, the male part of the flower, the pistil, the female part of the flower, the petals, and the sepal. Okay, kids, this time I will give you a final test to see how smart you have been on this lesson. Please prepare your pen and paper and answer this one. that's our lesson for today. I hope you have learned something from our discussion. I am Ma'am Jen, your science teacher. Until next time, see you!